It seems the biggest fear of scientists and astronomers is about to be confirmed by the James Webb Telescope. In such a case, we may have to throw everything we know about the beginning of our universe out the window. The theory of how our universe was formed has always been a topic of debate among scientists, physicists, and astronomers. But a recent discovery by the James Webb Telescope has shown that all of this could be wrong. This discovery was about the existence of time, and no one was prepared for the shock James Webb created. What did this powerful telescope discover about time and its existence? Did it really prove that time does not exist? Let's find out the answer to all these questions together. The Big Bang Theory, which states that the universe has been expanding since it emerged 14 billion years ago in a hot and dense state, has been found to contradict the new images captured by the James Webb Telescope. While these fascinating photos clearly inspired awe in those who saw them, the situation was different for leading cosmologists and astronomers. They were also surprised by the images, but the reason for their surprise was quite different. The images from the telescope were analyzed and presented as articles. The authors of these articles reported that the photographs showed several galaxies that were surprisingly small, smooth, and shockingly old. In addition, there were a few unpleasant surprises. The reason these images from the telescope caused panic among experts was that the photos constantly contradicted the Big Bang Theory. As this theory has been defended and accepted by many scientists for decades, the new data began to cause turmoil among experts. What happens if the Big Bang Theory, which has been widely accepted for decades, is suddenly refuted? One of the astronomers disturbed by this latest development was Alison Kirkpatrick, who works as an astronomer at the University of Kansas. Kirkpatrick expressed her feelings by saying, "Right now I find myself lying awake at 3 in the morning wondering if everything I've done is wrong. It is not difficult to explain why these galaxies are so smooth, so old, so small, and so numerous, and the explanations are incompatible with the Big Bang Theory. In an expanding space, galaxies and other objects are not expected to appear smaller as the distance increases. Instead, after a certain point, they appear larger because their light tends to leave them when they are closer to us. This is in stark contrast to ordinary non-expanding space, where objects appear smaller in proportion to their distance. However, the images captured by the telescope showed objects getting smaller with distance. Even galaxies with more mass and brightness than our own Milky Way galaxy appeared 2 to 3 times smaller in James Webb images than other images taken by the Hubble Space Telescope. Also, the redshift of the new galaxies appeared to be 2 to 3 times greater. Redshift is the increase in the wavelength emitted from an object and indicates that the object is moving away. These listed facts completely contradict the idea of an expanding universe resulting from the Big Bang. This is because the distant galaxies in question must be incredibly small to compensate for the supposed optical illusion. Small and smooth galaxies indicate that there is no expansion, and in summary, it means that there was no Big Bang. Scientists who support the Big Bang Theory have known since the images sent by the Hubble Space Telescope that their assumptions require the existence of these small, ultra-dense galaxies nicknamed Mighty Mouse. Now, the James Webb Telescope has made things worse. The same theorists suggested that small galaxies collide or spread to become modern-day galaxies. To make an analogy to this hypothetical collision process, one can imagine a small magic toy car that weighs as much as a truck and collides with many other toy cars to become a real truck. However, the discovery that horrified Big Bang theorists also nullified this far-fetched scenario. If you could believe the toy car story, you would at least expect to see badly fragmented galaxies. However, the telescope showed only smooth spiral forms and very smooth disks, as we see in modern galaxies. So basically, the data ultimately destroyed the merger theory. Given that there are few or no mergers, there is naturally no way for small galaxies to become 100 times larger. Therefore, we can say that they were not small in the beginning. As a result, the optical illusion of the expanding universe theory is also not true. There is no illusion, which means there is no expansion, because the illusion is a harbinger of expansion. This is exactly what is causing panic among Big Bang supporters. In addition to small and smooth galaxies, their age and abundance also refute the Big Bang. The James Webb Telescope allows astronomers to observe the colors of distant galaxies by using various filters to capture images in the infrared spectrum. This allows them to estimate the age of the stars in these galaxies. According to the Big Bang, the most distant galaxies in the images should appear as they were 400 to 500 million years after the beginning of the universe. However, some of these galaxies exhibit clusters of stars that are more than 1 billion years old. Since nothing can exist before the Big Bang, the existence of these galaxies challenges the validity of the Big Bang theory. As the James Webb Telescope delves deeper into space and goes further back in time, it was expected to reveal a decreasing number of galaxies, thus denying the existence of a dark age in the universe. However, another article showed that galaxies as large as the Milky Way were prevalent even a few hundred million years after the supposed Big Bang. Moreover, the new images revealed at least 100,000 times more galaxies than theorists predicted at redshifts exceeding 10. It is not possible for so many large galaxies to form in such a short time, which is likewise contradictory to the Big Bang. Also, all this explains that time does not really exist. According to another theory, time is nothing more than a human construct that helps us distinguish between the present and our perception of the past. The concept of time is basically an illusion made up of human memories. According to a group of reputable scientists aiming to solve one of the mysteries of the universe, everything that has happened and will happen is happening right now. Many people don't think about the concept of time, but there is nothing in the laws of physics that states that time must only move forward. The laws of physics are symmetrical, which means that time can easily move backward as it does forward. So much so that the supporters of the Big Crunch theory suggest that when the universe stops expanding and starts to contract within itself, time will also flow backwards. As the universe shrinks, it will get hotter. We can think of this as the opposite of the Big Bang. Instead of cooling and expanding, the universe will heat up and shrink. Eventually, everything in the universe will return to where it started, consisting of a tiny point. So what then? If you are asking this question too, you are not alone. Many people wonder what will happen in such a situation. Some people believe that the universe can start over with a Big Bang, while others think that the universe will burst like a balloon somewhere. Some even suggest that this process has taken place multiple times, resulting in the creation of many other universes. This dilemma regarding the interpretation of time moving forward has led scientists to question everything. Ultimately, some scientists have concluded that time is just a human construct. Thus, the existence of a block universe, also known as space-time, where space and time are interconnected, comes into question. This theory is supported by Albert Einstein's theory of relativity, which states that time and space are part of a four-dimensional structure. In this structure, every event that occurs has its own coordinates in space-time. This means that everything, including the past and the future, still exists in space-time, making everything as important as the present. MIT physicist Max Tegmark addressed this issue with the following words: "We can describe our reality either as a three-dimensional place where things happen in time, or as a four-dimensional place where nothing happens. If we accept four-dimensional reality as true, then time becomes an illusion because nothing changes. All of the past, present, and future times are there at any moment. Everything is in a state of change because we have the illusion that the past has already been lived and the future does not yet exist." British physicist Julian Barbour, who has written many books about time, also addressed this situation from his own perspective and describes everything as a series of nows. He used the following words when talking about the concept of time: "The only thing I am aware of is the state of my brain. I feel like I have a past only because my brain contains memories." You can imagine this situation as a country or landscape. Every point in this country is a now, and I call this country Plutonia because it was created with perfect mathematical rules, which makes it timeless. Dr. Barbour ended his words by saying that what we believe to be the past is an illusion formed in our brains. This brings us back to Albert Einstein and his theory of space-time. As you might expect, this theory caused some confusion in physics, and scientists are now saying, what if Einstein was wrong? Would eliminating the space-time theory help us better understand the universe? That might be too much, but as in history, revolutions are the lifeblood of science. Until a new regime emerges and takes power, simmering unrest moves towards the breaking point. This has happened many times in the history of astronomy and physics. For example, it was initially believed that the Earth was at the center of the solar system. This idea remained valid for about 1,000 years, until Copernicus said that the whole system would be much more understandable if we were another planet revolving around the sun. Then, Despite initial objections, Earth-centered ideas were crushed under the weight of evidence from the newly invented telescope. Isaac Newton also put forward his own theory and said that gravity makes the planets revolve around the sun. He stated that all objects with mass have a gravitational force on each other. In short, the reason we are in the orbit of the sun is the sun's gravitational force. The reason why the moon revolves around the Earth is the same. Newton's theory reigned supreme for nearly 300 years, until Albert Einstein's general theory of relativity, which he put forward in 1915. This new picture properly explained the inconsistencies in Mercury's orbit, and was dramatically confirmed by the observation of a solar eclipse off the coast of Africa in 1919. Einstein viewed gravity as a consequence of the curvature of space rather than a real attraction. He theorized that all objects in the universe reside within a smooth, four-dimensional fabric called space-time. Massive objects like the sun bend space-time around them, so Earth's orbit is simply a consequence of our planet following this curve. To us, this looks like Newton's gravity. Albert Einstein's theory of space-time has been on the throne for over 100 years, overthrowing those who covet his crown. The discovery of gravitational waves in 2015 was a decisive victory. However, like its predecessors, it may soon be overthrown because it is incompatible with quantum theory, one of the nobles in the palace of physics. The quantum world is extremely strange. Accordingly, a single particle can be in two places at once. For example, in the 1930s, Erwin Schrödinger developed a famous way to show how strange this idea was. Schrödinger depicted a cat in a closed box with a poison bottle attached to a hammer. The hammer was connected to a device that observed the quantum state of the particle. Whether or not the hammer broke the bottle and killed the cat depended on this measurement. Quantum physics argues that the particle exists in both states simultaneously until a measurement is made. This means that the bottle is both broken and intact, and the cat is both alive and dead. However, such a picture cannot be reconciled with a continuously smooth space-time fabric. Sabine Hossenfelder, a theoretical physicist at the Frankfurt Institute for Advanced Study, also said that a gravitational field cannot be in two places at the same time. According to Einstein's space-time, the gravitational field is bent by matter and energy, but quantum physics says that matter and energy exist in more than one state at the same time. They can be both here and there. So where is the gravitational field? Asks Hossenfelder. Nobody has an answer to this question. Hossenfelder, who thinks that general relativity and quantum theory will not work if they are tried to be used together, stated that a probability higher than 1 will be obtained above a certain energy. On the other hand, 1 is the highest possible probability and means that an outcome is inevitable. Likewise, calculations can sometimes give an infinity answer that has no physical meaning. Therefore, the two theories are mathematically inconsistent. So, like many monarchs throughout history, physicists are looking for marriage between rival groups, a common ground, to bring peace. They began searching for a quantum theory of gravity, the ultimate diplomatic practice to allow these two rivals to share the throne. Some theorists have turned to strange possibilities like string theory. String theory is the idea that subatomic particles like electrons and quarks are made up of tiny vibrating strings. Just as you can create different notes by touching the strings on a musical instrument, string theorists argue that different string combinations create other particles. The allure of this theory is that, at least on paper, it can reconcile general relativity with quantum physics. But to pull this rabbit out of the hat, the strings must vibrate in 11 dimensions. There is no evidence yet that these extra dimensions actually exist. It's sure to be an interesting calculation, but for now, we don't really know if it describes the space-time we live in. What do you think about this? Could time really be just an illusion? What could it mean for humanity to prove this? We look forward to your ideas. Thank you for taking the time if there is such a thing as time. See you in the next videos. Goodbye.